So what I want this guide to mostly be about is to help you guys know what carry you should be picking and when. Now there are two things you should be considering when picking an AD carry. Who you're going to be laning against, and who you're going to be fighting in team fights. So for example, you wouldn't pick Vayne into Malphite, or Ashe into Aurelia. More on this later. Firstly, I just wanted to go over what makes some champions an AD carry. As most people today are told what champions are AD carries and what aren't, but aren't giving the reasoning behind it. What an AD carry essentially is someone that's going to be having most of their damage coming from auto-attacking. An AD carry isn't someone who scales really well with AD or the spells. That's like an AD caster, for example, Talon. So now knowing this, there are certain things that these AD carries we have today benefit from auto-attacks. For example, Ashe's Q benefits from auto-attacks completely. Tristana's Q enhances her attack speed. Kog'Maw's W makes him deal percent damage and true damage, and all of those things are helping their auto-attack in some way. So I'm sure you see where I'm coming from. That's why Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancer together do the most damage, simply because all the stats on both of those items are boosting up your auto-attack so much. Now I'm not really giving away any secrets telling you guys this, as most likely you already knew that. I just wanted to pound it into your head and get you ready for what's to come. A lot of you guys probably should know now League of Legends is a game based around picking more than most people think. If you're picking Vayne into Malphite, you're going to have a bad time. I was thinking the best way to give you guys as much information on this topic as I can is by quickly going through the pros and cons of each meta AD carry. I don't consider Twitch and Teemo as AD carries. This will actually be the first step for me to give you the skill on how to know what AD carry you should pick and when. It's all well and good giving someone, just telling them what to pick in that certain scenario, but if you teach them how to pick every time and they actually know what they're doing and have good information, then it will set them up for the rest of their time playing AD carry. I'm sure you've heard some similar things like this about teaching a man to fish or giving him some fish and things like that. It's the same sort of principle. Ashe. The pros are she has a lot of utility, slows, nice ultimate for engaging. Cons, no escape, no steroid, fairly weak in lane. Graves, pros, generally strong throughout the game, nice dash ability with amazing steroid, strong burst damage with spells, passive helps keep him out of trouble. Cons, kind of short range, abilities aren't useful later on in the game. Kennen, pros, high base damage and attack speed, lots of stun capability for kills in lane, really nice repositioning with lightning rush. Cons, Kennen is probably stronger in a team fight just being built AP, and no really amazing steroid that makes him benefit from auto-attacking so much. Kog'Maw, pros, nice slow with E, insanely high damage, and good at killing tanks when W is leveled up and you have some nice attack speed and items. Ultimate is probably one of the most useful spells in the game. Cons, no escape, really weak early game, can be dived on quite easily if you don't have a good team at protecting him. Corki, nice pros, nice escape, really high mid-game damage, can shed a good amount of armor with E, nice true damage with passive. Cons, most of his abilities scale with AP and don't really do much later into the game. He also has no real steroid to affect his auto attack, aside from his passive. Miss Fortune, pros, really high damage early, high base health which makes her great in lane, awesome ultimate for mid to early game team fights, decent attack speed steroid with healing debuff. Cons, no escape, attack speed steroid isn't that good really. Caitlyn, pros, strong early harass, strong abilities to use in lane, 650 range is good to learn AD with. Yordle Trap is actually really nice. Cons, no real steroid, useless Q and ultimate when the game goes on. Damage falls off towards mid game if you don't get some fairly big items early on. Tristana, pros, high early game damage with spells with kill potential, nice jump, and ultimate for kiting down people. Insane late game scaling with attack speed, steroid on Q. Healing debuff is always nice, 700 range at level 18 or so. Cons, weak mid game if she doesn't get items fairly fast, so if people who avoid dying to you it's hard to get items. Jump takes a bit of time to finish as well. Ezreal, pros, nice early game damage, attack speed slow, flash-like ability, nice ultimate for sniping kills, pretty good attack speed buff on passive. Cons, most of the abilities scale off AP, and he has a shortish range. Generally doesn't do as much damage as other carries later. Vayne, pros, insane late game damage, can 1v1 pretty much anyone. Fairly long stun with E, true damage helps to kill tanks. Cons, extremely weak laning phase without items, kinda short range, difficult to play. Severe, pros, Nice early game damage with Q. Spell Shield is actually really great versus certain champions and can be extremely good if used correctly. Ultimate is also really nice for team fights. Cons: she's quite hard to play effectively, and she has no escape, so you have to make use of the movement speed you have with Ultimate. Varus, pros: good damage on Q early to mid game, and also percent damage with W. Always good to have a healing debuff and slow as well, and his ult has really good kill potential on bot lane. Cons: no escape and being the main one, and could do with a bit more mid to late game damage. I won't actually say anything about Draven here since he's not quite in the meta yet, and I need to look at him a bit more. So that actually took a lot longer than I thought it would to go through all the pros and cons of each champion, but I thought it's helpful just as a reminder, if anything else. So from here on, you're going to want to base your decision on two sets of things. 1, if you have a good team to protect you, or 2, if you have a good team to kill the enemy AD carry. Usually you'll have one or the other, and it's up to you to decide which one you have and pick accordingly. Let me give some examples. Usually it depends on your jungler and top lane mostly, as your support is going to be looking after you regardless, and mid is something completely different. Tops and jungles that are really good at protecting your AD carry. Nautilus, just simply because every one of his abilities in some form is a CC that can be used to protect you. Alistar, just like Nautilus, is the combination and amount of time you can keep someone away with W and Q, makes it very easy to protect your AD. Maokai, uses CC and innate tankiness to protect you. Shen, taunt is long enough and can really help to protect an AD carry. It's also very tanky. Singed, flinging people around and slowing them makes it really difficult for someone trying to kill you to get anywhere, basically. Trundle, a combination of Pillar and his ultimate, reducing resists, means Trundle is excellent at working together with the carry to kill someone. Tops and jungles really good at killing an AD carry. Aurelia, her annoying tenacity passive means it's really hard to lock her down, mixed with a short cooldown on her dash and slow/stun, can really sometimes make it impossible for your AD carry to survive in a team fight. Jarvan, once again he has a really nice combo with E and Q to get him closer to a squishy AD. His burst is also insane, and if you don't have some kind of flash or dash to escape out of his ultimate, you're done for. Jax, he's got a great skill set for taking down a carry, more specifically his E, which makes him able to completely dodge all auto-attack damage while running up to said carry and then stun them afterwards. His insanely high damage and stun leap combined with innate tankiness make him one of the best bruisers in the game for this job. Lee Sin, combined with another bruiser, he can easily jump to them and get right into range of you. His slow, kick away and high damage with Q make him excellent for taking down those squishy carries. Malphite, simply having an attack speed debuff on his E and building Frozen Heart being so crazily good on him makes him a great pick against a strong auto-attacking late game carry. If Malphite gets ahead, he basically just becomes unkillable for said carry. Nocturne, his entire skill set is assassin based. Ultimate to instantly close a gap, W to stop any stuns/CC, Q to deal some damage and keep up with the kiting carry, and not to forget his fear, which procs after a second and usually requires you to flash to escape from it. Riven, if snowballed enough with stacked Bloodthirster, she can take down a carry in 2 seconds. Flat, she's by far the most hardest bruiser to deal with if strong. Sometimes getting flash stunned on can even mean your death without even getting the chance to flash away. A good team, preferably including Janna or Nunu, is good against Riven. Skarner, he can be the bane of your existence if building correct items. Sometimes there's nothing you can do if he Shurelya's, flashes and ults you. My main advice for him against him is to get QSS as quickly as possible without losing out on too much damage. Wukong, pretty much like Malphite, his ultimate can wreck you, and if you aren't careful, he can catch you off guard with his stealth if you're not looking correctly. You may have noticed there's more tops and junglers that are good at killing an AD carry than protecting one. That's mostly because there's also supports and AP mids that can be really effective at protecting your AD as well. It's usually an easier concept for people to grasp that they need to kill the enemy AD carry rather than protect your own one. This is why, in my opinion, Graves and Corki are probably the best picks for AD carry, as solo queue goes anyway. Simply because you're kind of doing everything yourself and not really relying on anyone. If you remember back to my AD carry positioning guide, I showed some clips of myself as Kog'Maw and my whole team protecting me. If I didn't get that protection, I would have died instantly. However, if I didn't get that protection, and I was Graves or Corki, I'd be a lot more safe and be able to put out more damage. ADs you want to pick when you have characters good at protecting you, usually high damage and low mobility. Kog'Maw, Vayne, Ashe, Tristana, Graves, Misfortune. ADs you want to pick when you have characters good at killing the enemy AD carry, usually high mobility with a dash and teleport. Ezreal, Corki, Graves, Kennen, Caitlyn. So now we've discussed what ADs work well with what champions, I want to talk about ranges and what ADs you shouldn't be picking into certain AP carries with certain ranges, such as low range AD carries like Misfortune, Graves, Ezreal, Corki, Varus, shouldn't be picked against things that can really exploit the low range of those carries, such as Malphite. If you have a short range, you can usually effortlessly ult you. It becomes a lot harder the further away you can auto-attack from. Ryze. Generally known for taking advantage of low AD carries, Ryze is usually tanky and can deal insane damage whilst locking you in place. Cassiopeia. Having to get in close while Cassio has her ult up can mean for a quick teamfight not in your favour. Conveniently, her ultimate is roughly the same range as a lower range AD carry's auto attacks. Anivia. So much CC and control. The wall and Q is loads more devastating when she has less chance to miss both of these when you're closer. Annie. Much like a short-ranged AD carry, Annie also has fairly short range, which makes it easier for her to get close to you and pop all her spells off. Mordekaiser. Being short-range also means you're in range to get ulted by Mordy. You don't want to die with that ult on your head even if all he does is ult you. It makes you much more cautious than without it. There are also some AP carries that you really want a dash/teleport ability against, such as Morgana. You don't want to be playing Kog'Maw and having a Morgana flash into you and ult when your flash is down. Having a flash or a teleport-like ability makes this so much easier to avoid. Xerath. Mostly because you can dodge out of his Q or R, avoiding a stun even if he gets his E on you somehow. Veigar. You want a teleport against him, and so in case you do actually get stuck inside his stun, you can easily jump out of it without being mobbed. Anivia. Getting walled off can mean instant death sometimes if you don't have a flash-like ability. Katarina. Being able to instantly dash or teleport away when she shumpones in and starts ulting pretty much negates 70% of the damage that would be dealt to you otherwise. Kennen. Just like Katarina and Morg, having flash or dash against an AoE ult like his is too strong to pass up on. Thank you for watching, and I hope I've improved your AD carry play. This video is mostly intended to make you think differently, rather than teaching you a single trick or telling you how to do something specific. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. I've also done 2 other guides on improving your AD carry play, so go check those out if you want to improve on some other things.